Sawtooth Dave, what's up, guys? First week in December. Man, this time flies. I swear, the older you get, the faster time goes. Chilling with the gato today. Miss Sock's up there chilling. It's cold, so she's in here with me. You know, cold's relative, right? Arizona cold. How about that? If today is the first day we had to cut the heat on. It got 68 in the house. Had to cut the heat on. Yeah, I know. Y'all crying for me. It's been a interesting week, I guess. A lot of different stuff, I guess, happened this week. So I didn't really have a lot of regrinds on earlier this week, Sunday, Tuesday, that sort of thing. So I ended up regrinding both my heaters. So I think y'all probably seen it if you're on Instagram. But there's the POW, nice 10-inch hollow grind on it. That works really well now. Like this one didn't change too much visually, a little bit, because one side was asymmetrical and one side looked different than the other. But now they're pretty close, but it's still asymmetrical grind. So you got this swedge up here and this big kind of ball groove in this one side. So it does look a little different from side to side, but I still think it looks cool. Like I did the best I could with evening it up the best I could and put a nice little belly in it. And man, it's perfect for what I wanted from this. Not too thin, but just, I like it. So I'm glad I waited to do these. But the MOW really came out the way I wanted it to. So this one now, like it was kind of a little lazier before. Man, the action's good on this thing now. Oh my God, the action's way better. It just, the little bit of lightness. Remember I was telling you last video that sometimes you do it, like the Hinder XM18 is not a heavy blade, but when you take that weight out of it, you could feel it, especially on the closing, that the weight of the blade's not there to close it. But this one, just the opposite, man. It really improved the action on this. It was a little bit lazy before. Same kind of thing. This was more of a direct tanto, like two different separate grinds. So I combined them both and just made one big belly out of the whole thing. I like how this one came out a lot. And I wasn't really sure about the shape at first, but after I did it, I was like, yeah, that's gonna work for me. And I brought the plunge grind back a little bit too, to kind of make more sense for me. But that's just mine. So I was just messing around earlier this week and did that. The long-standing project has finally, I believe, come to an end. So Daniel sent this to pointy in. Once again, go check out his video and his channel. He also runs Facebook group. So Daniel, either way you want to look at it, like either way you want to call him, he'll respond, I guess. But definitely from a military law enforcement background. I'm not exactly sure what he does, but you can tell when he talks, he has that kind of background. But anyway, not talking about him, talking about the knife he sent with the J-cape. But he did a video on it, and that's kind of what I was alluding to. And if you hadn't seen it, go watch his video. I tried to fix it a few weeks back. Y'all seen that? I don't know, was that 3 weeks back? Maybe 3 weeks, 4 weeks, or something like that. I took the lock bar insert out, and when I was trying to, well, we decided that that the detent ball was too small. The blade was modified somewhat, and it had a lot of play in it. I tried to push a bigger size detent in the lock bar insert. It broke the insert because it's steel. The steel's not going to flex that much. So in rebuilding this, I decided to go ahead, and I don't have access to the CMM, and I don't have access to the master cam, to do any of that stuff that I need to do. Like if I worked at the shop, it would have been way more professional, way easier to do and that sort of thing. But I don't have that kind of stuff. So anyhow, long story, I know. I made a titanium insert instead of a steel insert. A little more malleable, a little easier, because there's a lock bar cutter. Let me see if I can find one of these lock bar inserts real quick while I'm bullshitting. So the detent ball is so close to the corner of that thing that with steel, I don't think you have a whole lot of give. You need something that's going to be a little more malleable to put this oversized detent in it, because that's the key to it. And this is another one that I made. Remember I showed you last week how one did it. So let me see if I can show you. You see how close to that edge that detent rides? This is a 2mm ball instead of the 16th ball. So because it's so close to the edge, could I have made it out of steel? Yeah, maybe. But working with, and I would have to use like at least a pre-hardened steel. Oftentimes I've heard that it's harder to get the lock geometry right with steel. Like if you don't know the exact geometry they're using, it's harder to get it right, especially when I'm fitting stuff by hand. So I made this one by hand, just like that last one I just showed you was all made by hand. But at least now, it's got a detent. Now I ain't gonna say it's the best detent in the world, but it'll flip, it'll finger flick. It's actually probably best in the finger flick and the thumb. It does all those. It's just not a very, I'm not proud of the detent on it. I mean, granted, it's not coming out of the pocket now, right? I can still, if I do real hard, I can still get it out of there. Because when I showed you the breakdown of this, that the detent hole in the blade. Someone had to take a Dremel or something. I'm assuming Dremel, could be the file or something, but just work one side of it. So they got a really heavy chamfer on that hole. So while this is fully engaged, and there's also no detent lash. Remember last time I showed you a detent lash? So let me see if I can show you. So this is me pushing. Yeah, there you go. So you can see it's, as soon as it goes, it goes. But it's a weaker as far as the detent goes. But lockup's good. I've checked locked up. It's good. So, you know, I played with it a few days. It had a little lock stick and then it cleared up. So I think it's going to be good for him. You know, if he has a problem, he can always send it back. We can make another one. I'm going to send that other detent, the one that was bad, but the lockup's still good. So in case, you know, something really happened, you can always throw another one in there. I guess, I don't know. Like, I don't know why I'd give it to him, but I don't know why I'd keep it either. But finally done with this J-Cake project. I have nothing to reference because I've never handled a J-Cake before this one. This is the first one I ever handled, or anything from something machine company, whatever. Yeah, something machine company. I've never handled anything besides this one. But overall, you know, it's pretty typical what you expect from a Chinese knife. It is ground very well, super deep hollow grind. Like, to achieve something like this, me personally, like, I'd be getting nervous about being it too thin. Like, from my uses, I'm generally a little bit ruffian, I guess you'd say, which is why I like bruisers and stuff. But I don't know what the action is like on these normally, and I don't know if you could probably take a lot pressure out of it and maybe get it better. But I was looking for as much detent as I could. So if it was me and it was mine, then I probably would put more lock bar into it. Not to get too much in the weeds here, but you remember we were testing this detent, the theory before, and when I opened the blade, I was trying to test the gap between this titanium and the blade, and it was like, I think I ended up being like 36 thousandths. Well, in order to get this detent ball where I wanted it sticking out 38 thou. So there's an interference there. So if you can imagine, like, if this is the lock bar, you know, the ball is sticking out too far to clear it. So basically what I did was take that top of that ball and flatten it. So I just put it, instead of having to be a round detent ball, I just flattened the top of it to the same 28 thou that it was originally set to. So now it has the same exact clearance. It just has a flat top on that detent. But like, as far as I can say, it's pretty good as far as action goes from my style of knives. I don't know what the J-Capes normally handle like, so no reference there. But at least I can send Dan his knife back before Christmas. So Dan, you'll get your knife back soon, bro, if you even watch this video. Speaking of which, so, you know, Christmas is right around the corner. The whole shipping stuff in, shipping stuff out thing, like, if y'all want to ship me stuff, that's fine. I think this week right here is going to be the last week I ship before Christmas. So I don't want to get any porch pirates taking anybody's knives or taking my knives or anything else. So me personally, like, I'm going to take whatever y'all want to send, but I don't want to send out after this week. If y'all are cool with that, that's fine. Like, me and Steve Clare was talking about that earlier this week. He's got a few he wants to send me. He wants to send mine back. I think this week you're probably safe, first week in December-ish. But people are already looking for, the porch pirates are already out there looking. You know, I catch lurkers around here all the time. Like, I'm out in the country, you know, if you don't have a security mailbox, you get robbed all the time out here. It's crazy. It's everywhere, right? So a few weeks back, I don't know where I was on that porch pirate thing. Sorry, just sidetracked. You know, like last week was a short video. I'm already rambling. We're already 8.5 minutes. So hey, if anybody wanted more last week, you're gonna get double this week. How about that? Evan, which was the dude I ground. Whose knife was it? Was that a Mac? Is it that Mac 2? I think it was. I think his was the Mac 2. You know, I ground so many people's knives. I can't remember for sure, but I know it was Evan. And he sent me this cool, as a gift, he sent me this cool little snap-on 10. He said it's from 66. So I think that's cool as hell. It is a cool little 10. And what I did was, because I had to order those drills from Dangle Stuff, I just made me a little detent kit. So this is my first little modification for my detent. So special size drills, and I use cobalt drills instead of high speed steel. So it makes it a little easier for me personally. He also sent this little neck knife thingy, and he wanted it ground. It was a Tonto to start with, and he said anything but a Tonto. And I've never tried to grind. You know me, I'm into bigger stuff. I've never tried to grind something. I mean, this is literally like smaller than my finger. But I did a little, I didn't know if hollow would even work, but I did a hollow on it and turned it into a drop point instead of a Tonto. So hopefully this is what you like, Evan. I'll send it back to you, bro. But, you know, for something so small, like, I don't know. Don't be surprised if Satu Claus visit you too. So you might get a little extra gift in there. Speaking of which, that's what I was getting to. I'm sorry, that's just reminding me. All right, so the giveaway thing. I need to do it. I need to do giveaways. People have given me stuff to do and give away to practice grinding. So Cole sent me this one a while back. You remember the SR1 when I did Will's SR1? And then Carco Chris also sent me this He sent me mainly to play with, but and he gave it to me, but he said, you know, do whatever you want to with it. But it's I think it's the XOK or something like that. It's a weird little thing to get used to, man. If you've never seen it, like this got a little practice knife too. I've never even heard of it before he sent it to me, but I'm not into really this kind of knife. But if you hold it like a normal ceramic, like if you imagine the blade be out like that, you got to kind of roll it out in your hand. Well, it's like this, and hit this button. When you hit the button, you kind of flip it back and then down. So you can easily stab yourself, but it's, you know, it takes a little minute, and under camera it's kind of harder to do. But you can kind of get used to it with that trainer and get with this one. It's just not something that like I'm really not into the ceramics, and quite honestly, like, I don't know, it's just, if you're a fidgety kind of person, you might want to like that. So we'll throw that in the giveaway, and who knows what else. Like, there's gonna be a couple things we're gonna. So I don't want to do like, hey, don't tell me you're in, don't tell me I'm in for the giveaway or anything about a giveaway. Just leave a comment in this video. I'll do a drawing, I don't know, maybe middle of this week, or maybe it will be next week, and I'll ship again on the next Monday or something, and that'll be it for shipping for me. But anywho, let me know, comment, right? Okay, cool enough. In the video where most people won't see it. So the Know Nothing November thing, I got to tie it all in because it makes sense here in a second. Just to recap, so I did no coffee, no sweets, and no knife trades, purchases, or anything else. I made it through it, honestly, easy, because the no coffee was a little bit of a strain, but after, you know, week or two, actually I say 4 to 5 days was rough, and then after that it pretty much eased out. Sweets, you know, same thing. I mean, everybody gets a sweet tooth, but eat a yogurt or something, right? It was fine. The no knife thing worked fine for me because all y'all are so cool to send me all the stuff y'all sending me to grind, and a lot of the stuff that's been sent to grind I just haven't handled before. So, you know, you get that whole pleasure of handling something new and experiencing something new. It wasn't mine, so I kind of sort of cheated that one. But the reason I'm even kind of recapping this is because Billy was chomping at the bit, man. Like, he was mid-month, like, hey man, can you get a knife right now? I'm like, no, don't send me nothing. Don't send me nothing. So he even says, I think it was Sunday or last Sunday or something. He was like, hey man, you're gonna get a package. It might be a day early. So I told Hot Rod, I thought, if I get one from Billy, you got to hold it back till at least the first. So he kind of sort of already spilt the beans and told me what was in it. So he sent one for grind, and then 2 he gifted to me. And he's crazy. He thinks he's on the upside of all the deals that we've done. And he might be monetarily, but you know, that's how I give back instead of just doing mostly giveaways. Like, because a lot of the giveaways are kind of like, it's kind of like the Porch Pirates, man. People just wait for a giveaway and jump on stuff. And I don't have that many, like, you know, there's a couple hundred people that watch any given video. So like, if 800 people all of a sudden start commenting, I'm gonna know that 600 people ain't normally here. I want it to be for the people that are normally here. That's why I like giveaways. So generally, instead of doing giveaways, I'll just throw in something, either on a deal, or like when Evan, that little neck knife he sent me, he's probably gonna get something back whether he wants it or not. Like, he's going with something. So like, you know, that's how I give back to y'all. That's my thing, I guess. Rambling. Sorry, dude. Hell, y'all don't care. 13 minutes in. Who cares? All right. So the first one Billy sent, this is the one for regrind, is a shed knife. I don't know what the model number is, but he basically said he wanted to cut something with it, not just look at it. So we're going to do something with it. I ain't really 100% decided what, but it's a funky little guy. This is one of the ones that we saw at Blade Show. I was with Billy and Courtney when we were at Blade Show and going over this booth, but even my big hands, like, I ain't going to say it's the most comfortable thing in the world. Like, it gets a little bit on the knuckle in here. Like, it's just wedged in pretty good, but you know, you can get the full hand on it. I mean, I ain't going to say I don't cover it up. I do cover it up, and that's a little bitty blade, but you know, with the right geometry on it, like especially if you slid up something like this, you could do pretty good. So I think I'm gonna turn it into something more like, I was either thinking about a compound or just one big hollow. I'm not sure yet. So we'll do something with it and make it a little more like what they were hoping it was going to be, I think. He sent me, y'all seen, if y'all watched Billy's channel, Apex Alchemy, Billy and Courtney. I don't mean to disclude you, Courtney, because you're gonna be on the other end of this thing too. He showed this a few times. I believe is it a 562, Billy? Or 560, something like that. I can't remember. I remember it's something close to a ZT number. Buck. So this is the only titanium one, or one of the only titanium ones or something. You know, it is a clip point. So it's one of those ones that, like, when I first seen it, like, I don't know how I'd use this. Like, what role would this play for me personally? And then after I thought about it for a minute, I like left pocket knives, right? So no clip on it, nothing. Perfect. Drop it right in the left pocket right next to my wallet. Then I got an extra knife in case I need one. That's perfect, man. So like, I'm actually use it, man. So very much thanks for this one. And the full tie, of course, if I was going to have a lot back. Well, I got several lot backs as a kid, but like, and I still have a couple left over from, I think I got one from my mom and one from my dad, and maybe one from when I was a kid or something left back in the house there. But that's nice. I don't usually, those are mementos more or less than actual users. But I'm gonna put this one to use, and we'll see what else. The sheath sucked though. This is the sheath. Like I ain't never gonna carry it on that sheath. But this is the one that blew me away, because y'all gotta know, like, y'all gotta know Billy. So if you don't know Billy, this ain't gonna make sense. But I had given him a great deal on Hinder that came from Aaron. I had it from Aaron for a while. I knew I wasn't really doing anything with it, so I was like, I'm gonna do something with this. So moved it along on that big sale I had. I think it was beginning of October, end of September, something like that. And he got that Hinder. He decided, like, he was kind of nervous about using it, because even though it's only a $400 knife new, it's worth more because the Hinder people, they a little crazy, like, so they spend extra money for certain finishes and stuff. Like, if that's your thing, just not me personally. Like, it's just not something I'm all about, paying extra because it's black or stonewashed or whatever. But them guys is crazy. But anyhow, he traded that at the National Knife Show for at SMF Performance. And the crazy bastard gifted me the SMF Performance. Like, I can't believe y'all did this, but I get his thought process on it. I just don't agree with the value. So this is not a $400 knife. And I've already took it apart, tuned it up a little bit. It was assembled a little wonky. It had some other things that was going on with it. Like the detent was flatted. It felt real gritty because of the detent. So I put a ceramic ball detent in it, retuned it for me, and put a little edge on it. And yes, I did hit the edge of the sharpening choil with my belt strop, because I'm an idiot and I can't see nothing, because when I do that sharpening stuff, I got to wear a set of these. And when you got these, you're really focused on one thing. So I was focused on the edge of that and wasn't paying attention to what was going on here. I don't know if am I telling too much of myself? You see how I got hit with the belt? I was good always standing, and I got the belt and I hit that sharpening choil. It's basically because I was trying to dig into this corner to try to get it stropped good, but I'm an idiot. Lesson learned, but I screwed it up. But anyway, it don't matter. It's all, the edge is good. The reason I had to put an edge on it, looked like I had it factory edge, and looked like someone sharpened that, and then maybe someone else sharpened it again. It was like looked like three different angles. But I got it all worked out, no problem. But blown away, and you can rest assured that Satu Claus is going to visit Billy and Courtney too, because he was like, "Nah, man, it's a gift." I'm like, "All right, fine. You get a gift back then." I'm going to look at it like a trade, but he going to look like a gift. He going to get way better than what he thought he was going to get, but we'll see. That's just how I do. Lastly, so I've known Don as far as like other channels calling him, and we've talked maybe once or twice, but I've not really and he's in Cave Creek, he's not far away, so I'm talking about D&K Nice Don. He's not that far away. I should have make a motorcycle ride out there and like at least introduce myself, but I never have. I don't know, maybe we'll correct that one of these days. He sent a couple in for regrind, and one of the regrinds also for work. But this one I've never heard of. What's it called? Let me get Don's note real quick. Sorry, mid deploy there. Serge Panchenko Trisec. Okay, so I don't know. Maybe you guys have heard of these things. I have never. I've heard of Serge Panchenko, but never of this particular model, which I'm assuming is like Chinese production or something. That's what it feels like to me, anyhow. It's a cool knife, actually, though. Like, for what it is. If it was beefier, I probably would really like it. But the grind is pretty robust, man. Like, it's pretty much bruiser geometry, but not bruiser thickness. Like, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know. It's kind of a weird conundrum for me. So I think a good deep hollow grind on this one will get that back in the spec, make that more what he's looking for on this one. I'm assuming these are his personal knives, but I don't know. We never really discussed it, and I really don't care anyhow, to be honest with you. Like, the people who sent their stuff in for me, even that dialer board that I had from Jeff last weekend, like, I don't mind paying for the shipping and that sort of thing. Like, but I think what I'm going to do kind of at the beginning of the year or something, I was like, if you want to do something for me, buy me a belt or something. I don't know, because the belts, I'm not flying through them, but I've gone through quite a few belts or something. Like, instead of like tipping me or trying to gift me something, just buy me a belt or something. I'll figure out something with that. But I've had several of y'all ask me about like paying me back and that sort of thing. I ain't really worried about that kind of shit. This is all for the fun, hopefully for everybody, like for me especially, but hopefully for y'all too. So like if it's a couple bucks to send something back, like I ain't really sweating it, man. The other one Don sent was this Vero, and I don't know which Vero this is. Did he even tell me? Sorry, I'm midway here. Just said Vero, so I don't know what model this is. Well, y'all probably tell me. Full tie though, so I dig the full tie part of it. Now, Vero's, as far as like aesthetically, I kind of like the Teslas and that sort of thing. They're just real sleek, modern looking things. What do you call it? Art Deco? I don't know what the hell they call it. Whatever it's called, but I like it with a little hole and not like. It's a cool knife. It's just not quite big enough for me. But I mean, it's almost. But the detent on these things suck. Like the detent's horrible. Like the geometry on the flipper was good enough to be able to make it, and same with the. But it's actually like the feel of the flipper, like the feel of the detent. Like, is there anything there? Very at the last end, it's finally sucked it in. This one's got lock rock, so I don't know if I can even. I don't know if y'all gonna see that, but it's got lock rock. So, two things: weak detent, lock rock. So, what does my mind immediately go to? Lock bar pressure. It needs more lock bar pressure. So to test the detent part of it, take the knife and I'm just gonna put pressure on the detent and then try to pull the blade out so I can feel it as I'm putting more pressure on it. It gets tight right there. It's not coming out at all. So the further I go back, the less pressure I'm putting on it. So right about in the middle of that lock bar is where the detent, to me, should feel like. So that's telling me that I can increase the lock bar pressure and I'll get more detent on the blade. That's just the little manual check, I guess, for me personally. And then when I deploy it all the way, so the lock rock's happening with a normal deployment. I don't know if it's visually able to see it, but if I take the lock bar and squeeze it, like I'm pushing it over as far as I can, then it's all gone, right? So that takes care of the lock. So it tells me it might be fixed to the lock bar, but we'll see, right? As far as regrinding this one, this is gonna be a little bit of a challenge because it's a pretty thin grind. It's flat grind, it's pretty thin to start with. So to hollow grind this, it's going to end up being really thin. So this is going to be a hell of a challenge. And I don't really know, like when you get to the, maybe I'll go over to how I look at grinds and stuff because it's already at 22 minutes now. I'll do another video down the road here and we'll discuss like how I look at what wheel size I can use for what grind. But basically is the taller the grind from the final bevel to where it stops up here, that this width, this tallness here, the taller it is, the bigger the wheel has to be in order to make it work. Otherwise, you're going to get way too thin in the middle. You really want to be, the peak of that needs to be right here. You want to remove as much material as you can to make it thin, but you still want it strong enough to be able to make it work and basically progressing out, not going in and then back out and then to a tip, if that makes sense. So it's just some things to think about when you're doing ring grinds. So this definitely is not an 8-inch wheel, and the biggest wheel I have is a 10. Quite honestly, with a 10, I'm a little nervous. I think I probably need a 12, 14 to do something like this. But I don't know. Like I'll look at it, kind of sort of play it in my mind. It's not a super thick blade. If it was a thicker blade, I could try it with a 10. But this thin of a blade stock, that thin of a grind to start with, I don't know, man. It's gonna be rough. It's gonna be a hard one to do. But yeah, to recap the whole week, because we had 23 minutes already. Interesting week. Thank all you guys, even for hitting me up, the people that are going to send me stuff, all the, man, thank you guys. I think this afternoon or one of these Sundays coming up, my brother Rich going to come by and we're going to hang out and maybe we'll shoot a video, maybe we won't, I don't know. But anyway, my mom's all over the place. He just texted, that's the reason I said that. Giveaway, just leave a comment. Mad shout out for everybody, especially Billy and Courtney. But y'all gonna get something in return. Y'all got me good, but you're getting something in return. Yeah, 24 minutes. Hope y'all have a great week. Y'all be cool. See you.